Hi, this is Tony Holland, founder and CEO of Global Premier Benefits. I'm here today with two amazing gentlemen that are part of our organization and part of the new Latin Fuego, burning through the insurance industry. How you guys doing today?
Doing well, Tony.
Yeah?
Yes.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Muy bien?
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Tremendo día.
Okay. Awesome. Listen, guys, it's a blessing to have both of you here. I have William Vargas, all the way from what, Chicago?
From Chicago.
Originally from where?
From Puerto Rico.
Okay, wonderful. And we have Eddie Velez from Florida, correct?
From Florida,
Tampa,
originally
Florida.
from New York, so I'm a New Yorican.
New York.
Yeah, and your mom and dad lived in Puerto Rico, but I just traveled in and out.
Okay, got it. So awesome. So you guys got into this insurance business, and I know you started how long ago in insurance?
Right. It's been over 10 years that I've been in the industry.
Okay, William.
I've been doing Medicare for about 7 years with you now.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
wonderful. A good experience?
Wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yes. I just remember one day, Tony, I was going through a big trial, and the Lord just led me to go on the internet, and I saw a video kind of similar like this where you gave a presentation, and I was just blown away. I just said, you know what? I have to be part of this company. Okay. Led by Tony Holland.
So you saw one of my videos.
I saw one of your videos. Very blessed by that video.
Yeah, I need to capture that one again. Hey, whatever we did, right, and that to attract someone like you, William, I definitely need to capture that one. So we got to memorialize that one.
Right.
It brought one of the most amazing stars in the industry. So I appreciate you sharing that. And Eddie, how did you get rolling?
Well, I got a friend of mine, Everett, who obviously right now is like the number one MGA in your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was
now
dripping on me.
SGA, by the way.
Oh, yes, that's right.
He's conquering the
congrats
world.
on that.
Yeah, he had his
promotion.
all-time record year last year. It's pretty impressive. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
amazing what Everett's doing. Yes.
Well, he was dripping on me for 4 years. I call it like Chinese water torture.
Right.
And he caught me at the right moment. It was right after, everything happened with my mom, and I was like in a flux, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Yeah. And I wasn't listening to him in the past when he kept saying, come on board, you can do this, it'd be great. It's the fact that you speak Spanish and all of that and get your own book of business. But that day, my ears were open.
Right.
Because I had that hurt and that hole that needed to be filled. And, he and I go back 25 years. And so he told me, Eddie, you could be part of this and build your own book of business and bless a lot of people. And then I said, book of business? I thought that the industry went the 401k model. And he said, no. And I said, okay, you're talking to me now.
Good. So you mentioned about, speaking Spanish. How is that such a huge advantage in this business? Because part of my mission is, I consider us one of the most diverse organizations in America. We've won several awards in that category, and I pride ourselves on having people from all walks of life, but specifically in the Latino market. How is that a huge advantage that you speak Spanish in this industry of Medicare?
Right. So I remember getting started as a captive agent many years ago, Tony, and I remember a call coming in once, and it was somebody that spoke Spanish, and I said, great, I could really be a blessing to this person.
Right.
I begin to speak to this person in Spanish. Then I look behind me and somebody's tapping me in the shoulder. It was two managers. They said, you cannot speak Spanish because the compliance, they don't understand what you're saying. And I just thought to myself, wow, this is just an untapped market. And sure enough, I've been marketing in the Spanish market, and it's just wide open. There's a lot of great opportunity there for us.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think when you consider, I think that the second biggest population is the Hispanic market, because there's so many different countries that make it up. It's not just Puerto Ricans, it's Cubans, it's Colombians, it's Mexicans, it's Guatemalans, and the whole 9 yards. And they're not being serviced to the level that they can be, because oftentimes they don't understand what's being said.
Right.
And so when they know that they can sit down with somebody that understands their culture, their concerns, and then could explain it to them how they understand it well, it's just a massive opportunity. Right. I mean, I'm constantly looking for bilingual speaking agents, because it opens up a door that if you don't speak another language, it's just pretty hard to get to walk through.
Right. Amen. And I noticed too, in my experience, I've been doing this for 28 years, and the one thing I was so amazed by is those from foreign descent, their work ethic, especially in the Latino community. I mean, it's amazing to see the drive, the work ethic, the dedication. I don't care if it's digging ditches, mowing lawns, putting on a roof. Latino people work extremely hard. I think it's built into the culture. Would you guys agree to that? Can you talk to me about where do you guys derive that unbelievable work ethic, especially in the business world? No matter what Latinos do, they work their tail off and become very successful. Where does that come from, William, do you think?
Yeah, I remember as a young boy watching my father work 2 jobs. He worked as a chef, and then he had a second part-time business that he had. So just coming from a country that you don't have the opportunities as you do here in the U.S., and then you come here and you see the opportunity, when you combine that work ethic with that hunger, it's a great way to be successful.
Amen. Amen.
See, and I also think that because we're still of the generation that is tied to maybe the first generation in somebody's family who came to America.
Right.
And so what happened, like with my dad spoke broken English. He had a 6th grade education, but somehow I never knew we were poor. And he worked his butt off, never took a day off for work, never took a vacation in his life.
Wow.
And so they had to struggle harder just to be able to compete because of all the other obstacles, language obstacles and everything. And so they put that in us. They taught us that. Like my father said, always, do more than it's expected because of the fact that they're looking at you. And I remember when I was in South Carolina working in computers, this one man came up to me one time and he says, "Man, Eddie, you're doing great for a Puerto Rican."
Wow.
And I looked at him and I said, "Really? Thank you. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be."
Wow.
And he just walked away.
Wow.
So,
well, I think, this country has so many opportunities, and the opportunity is what you make it. And you guys have seized that opportunity like no others. So I commend you guys and your families and your upbringing, because that's special, because I know you guys also both have a very strong faith in God, and I think that's also important in terms of the type of success that you guys had. You guys want to dive a little bit into that for me real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Will.
Yes. I would not be here because of God. I'm just so grateful that He led me to this company. I believe this was a divine connection that God led me to this company. I'm grateful that my family's able to be a part of it. I'm able to bring my family on the different trips that you offer. My wife loves the company. She's also my backbone. She's very helpful when it comes to the business as well.
Yeah, there's nothing more powerful than a husband and wife team. I've always said that. I learned that from Art Williams back in the day. So that's awesome. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with 100% what William said. When God is in the mix, the motivation is different. It's about serving others. It's like it says in the Bible, do everything as if you're doing it for God. You're not working for somebody, for the man. You're working for God, okay? He's just, the man is who God chose to lead you through that job, if you will.
Right.
And so I see it as, I'm doing this, for the Lord. I'm not doing this for my glory.
Right.
And like I told my wife, I don't care who gets the result. I'm not that type of a guy. And I remember I was working in a company that got me started around this industry. And they hired me to be the director of marketing and training. And the lady comes to me and says, "So what do you want your title to be?" I said, "You can call me janitor. I don't care as long as I get my check." That's just the way I'm wired.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, specific story that you have that can resonate with the audience, some Latino client that you worked with, because I want those that are listening to know there's real people out there that are struggling. They don't understand how Medicare works, doesn't know how insurance works. They have broken English. Mm-hmm. They're confused. This is someone's mom, somebody's dad. This person has a soul, a spirit. They're going through a medical crisis. They don't know where to turn, where to go, because insurance is so critical. It's not a luxury item. It's a necessity. Can one of you guys speak about that? Yes. One of those specific cases that moved you, that gave you that understanding what your calling was in this business.
Right. I think about the story of Jesus that he told his disciples, right? That we need to be servants.
Right.
And that's the attitude I take now when I'm sitting with my clients. I want to be a servant towards my customers.
Right.
I could care less about a sale. That's not my priority. I want to be a servant leader to my customers.
Right.
I think about a customer I just had a couple of weeks ago. I presented a plan and I was telling her, you know what? It might be best if you keep what you have. But I just poured so much love into her.
Right.
She called me the next day and said, William, I really want the plan you offer me because I'm not able to buy groceries. That plan that you're giving me is going to be able to put an extra $150 a month so I could buy groceries.
They could buy groceries with the plan.
They could buy groceries with the plan.
$150.
$150.
That's awesome.
Yes. And she says, and I'm going to need you to help my sisters and several other family members, right? Because I'm putting people first. You got to have that servitude attitude, just like Jesus did.
Amen. Love it.
You know, it's very similar to what with you. I had a gentleman who gave me a call, and you know he was a Puerto Rican as well, older guy, and he was on a plan that I agreed was the best plan for him. But I spent so much time into it and going over it with him, educating him, answering his questions. And then I finally just said, you know, Luis, I said, I don't think I can change you. I said, because if I change you, I'm going to hurt you. And I says, and this is how. I said, and right now you have this. I says, now, granted, I can't be your agent because you have whoever wrote that policy for you. I said, but I'm available if you need me. 1 month later, he gave me a call and he says, you know, I spoke with my wife and I said, my Lord, that guy was so sincere and genuine. I want him as my agent. Wow. He said, so I'm willing to switch even though it's going to cost me a little. And then later on, I can maybe switch to a different plan that'll be even closer to what I currently have. He said, but I want you as my agent.
Right.
And I was so humbled by that, you know, because all I did was what I would normally do for anybody.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. Awesome. That's what it's all about. Going out there, changing and saving lives. As you guys know, I had a mission statement that was probably way too long, and I just condensed it down. Keep it simple. We're about changing and saving people's lives. And you guys are doing that on a whole nother level, especially in the Latino community. Let's talk about the money. I mean, in terms of how this has changed your family's lives. I know, William, you know, your story. Can you share a little bit briefly about that hardship? I mean, you were down and out, and this business, I know, brought you and your family back to life. Can you share briefly about that for the audience?
Yes. I remember working for corporate America. My wife is in labor, and she's almost dying. And I wanted to take a week off. I'm working during AAP.
Right.
But I cannot take those days off. I'm not allowed to.
Wow.
At that moment, I needed to make a choice. I said, you know what? I need to be free. And I remember going home and praying to the Lord and saying, Lord, I need to be free. Please send me to a company where I can be free. And that's when I watched your video. I watched the video that you did, Tony. I must have watched that thing like 5 times. I said, you know what? I need to be part of this company.
Wow.
I need to follow this man's vision. And sure enough, I'm grateful to God that I met you, because in 3 years of me planting my flag in this company, I was able to fire my boss. Wow. My wife, I was able to retire her after 3 years of being in this company.
Wow.
I made more in one renewal check than what she made the whole year.
Wow.
And we've been free ever since. And I give God the glory that He let me here.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
You know, I was captured by my own business. I didn't own a business. I had a business that owned me.
Right.
And it was also self-inflicted because I'm such a meticulous perfectionist when it came to my marketing, my websites, my writing, and I would try to find people that would think like me and do work like me, and it was hard to find. And so I would often not be able to do things I wanted to do because I had no time. I had to be able to deliver on time. When it comes to marketing, you know, you have to meet a deadline or you're out of business.
Right.
And so that was one of the things that as I got older, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You know, how do I make this supply for my family when I can't work.
Right.
You know, and that's one thing I love about this industry. I have the freedom, the flexibility, and just like William said, if I needed that week off, I just take the week off because the renewals keep coming. And I remember that after my first AEP and that check came in, that's when it became real to my wife. And she said, okay, you know, like there was a marketer that once said, he goes, there's nothing better than to shut people up than a check.
Yes. You know, by the way, happy wife, happy life, by the way.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you guys know that. Some awesome stuff. Can you guys share specifically about global premier benefits in terms of your associate? Because there's a lot of FMOs out there. You mentioned that you're one that you know, didn't show you and your family the respect that you deserved and understand your predicament. There's a lot of other FMOs and IMOs out there that maybe are not the right place for people. I mean, there's some good ones out there, but there's some challenging ones out there. What's the difference in your all's experience between global premier benefits and other IMOs, FMOs in the industry?
Right. So one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people is, number one, they're not getting the support they need.
Right.
At Global, we're going to hold you by the hand. We have a training system that we're going to show you from A to Z what it is you need to do to be successful. We're going to hold you by the hand and coach you along the way. Right. Secondly, one of the other complaints I'm always getting, do you have leads? Yes, we have plenty of leads.
Leads are not a problem.
Leads are never a problem.
We got almost too many leads. That's a challenge. Like, we got leads in inventory. I don't want them in inventory. I want them worked. You know,
Absolutely.
Sooner the better we work them.
So we have plenty of leads that's never going to be a problem with us. And secondly, we have the ability, like Eddie was just talking about, we have a flexibility of schedule, right? You're able to set your own times and work as hard as you want to.
Right. Awesome.
And I agree with everything he said there. The training, the support, the Wednesday mastermind.
Yes.
You know, called that is a powerful tool.
Right.
The leads granted, but see. What I also love is the out-of-the-box support. You know, like, for example, I like to tell people, you know that an FMO only makes about $200? I said, do you know that last year we did a campaign, and what was on the table was FMO money.
Right.
You know, if you did 30 MAPD sales in 4 months, I mean, if you can't do 8 sales a month, you're in the wrong business.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And to get the FMO money. Now, what FMO out there is saying, you know what, I'm willing to invest in my people because I know long term it's going to be a blessing to them and to me, and that you put the entire $200 on the table if you met that minimum of 30. You know, so when I see that, the recruiting program that you put together that helps us to go out there and grow our business, and we don't have to spend a dime on it. It's paid by the FMO, by you guys. So this way we can have, you know, professional recruiters bringing us the talent that we need so that we can then grow that business and make the kind of money that we're looking to make and help the people that we're trying to help.
Awesome stuff. So as we wrap up, by the way, you guys have done an excellent job. I want to thank you guys for coming here today.
Our pleasure.
And this Latin Fuego is taking off. I know there's someone that's watching right now, you know, that's considering this move. What is your recommendation on how someone can get started in this business? Let's say they don't have an insurance license. They want to get started. They feel the passion. Obviously, you guys brought a lot of passion. You brought the Spirit of the Lord in this meeting. They want to serve. They want to make a difference. They want to change the trajectory of their family like you guys have, having these lifetime renewals, support, leads, you know, a 6-figure income, 6-figure renewals. How do I get started? How do you get started?
Yes, if you're listening to me right now, you might be in the position where I was just 5 years ago. There was one thing I wanted. That was freedom. Right, I was willing to do whatever it took to be free.
Right.
So, to get a license, very simple. It takes about 2 weeks. Right. I remember going to college for 4 years to get a degree.
Yeah.
When
some of us longer.
And now we're making double, triple than what I did with my degree.
Right.
So we require for you to get a license too. Very important. You got to be coachable. Right. The coach tells you to do something. Be ready because we have our best interest for you to win. We want you to be successful. We want you to be free. right? And you do it by following our lead. We're going to give you the steps, right? So it's just a matter of getting a license, have some hunger in you, and be ready to be free in just a couple of years.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add to that?
You know, it's hard to beat that, but quite frankly, what I want to say is, you know, this is a leveled playing field. But if anything, you're the one that has the one up because you speak Spanish.
Yes.
You don't need a college education. All you need is a work ethic and the willingness. That is it. Wow. And you will get the support you need to go out there and be all you can be. And then you can have a business that is recession proof.
Wow.
Every year, not only what we sell from that point forward do we get about roughly a 5% increase, but our entire book of business from the previous years,
right.
You get a 5%
Right.
roughly increase. So it stays with inflation, and we're not losing money;
Right.
we're growing money.
Yes.
So I mean, I would say take a look at this, because if you want something that you can depend on, that your family can depend on,
Right.
and that you can leave to your family as an inheritance, and just it's a legacy changing opportunity, you need to get in contact with us.
That's all. So about 2 weeks and probably another week or two after, they can start making money right away.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Like you said, 4 years of college, some of us longer, before we started making. You can literally get rolling in less than a month. That's pretty impressive. I want to thank you guys today, igniting the Latin Fuego. I'm so excited. Can y'all wrap it up for me, please? Right, please. You have to do it. I mean, we got a Latino audience watching. Like, we saw like snippets of some Spanish. Can y'all wrap it up for me to real quick in terms of your final comments or statements, if you could, please?
Yeah, if you're on the fence, if you're checking this thing out.
All right, brother, time out.
Okay.
Time out.
Oh,
Time out,
okay.
man. Time out. Come on. Come on.
Habla nuestra gente, caramba.
En español. Okay. Bienvenido, te invitamos para que seas parte de una compañía excelente que está yendo a muchos lugares. Te invitamos.
Muy bien.
Y yo te digo que si usted quiere cambiar tu vida y usted quiere una oportunidad, que no tiene que preocuparte que hay alguien que te va a decir que tú no puedes hacer lo que usted quiere hacer, aquí es el sitio para comenzar. El soporte está aquí para comenzar. No es nada tan difícil que uno no puede hacer. Puede comenzar un negocio entre un mes y va a estar en un negocio que es suyo completamente, pero no está solo. Aquí estamos para agarrarlo por la mano, caminarlo por el entrenamiento y todo, para ayudarlo a que tenga el éxito que necesita, porque cuando usted gana, nosotros ganamos también. Entonces podemos ir a darle el servicio a nuestra gente con el cariño necesario que ellos deben de recibir, y también con el respeto. Entonces los invito que vengan a nosotros y que sea parte de nuestro equipo aquí.
Muchas gracias. Muy bien.
Okay.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome, man. That was beautiful. I love you guys. I love your family. I love your wives.
Okay.
You guys are just amazing people, and I'm looking forward to this explosion in the Latino community take off with your all's leadership. So I want to thank you guys. May God continue to bless you both, bless your teams, bless your agencies. We thank you. Global has been greatly blessed by your all's presence and your knowledge, your influence, your service to communities. I thank you guys. God bless.